BowmanDigitalMedia.com.
JoeTheFinanceGuy.com.
All right, are we live?
We're live, brother.
We're live. I had to start all over again too. Sorry, Rachel. I thought I hit go live when I started the intro music, and yeah, I messed that one up. So wow.
You'll get it.
Yeah. Second day trying this. So yeah.
Hey everybody, Joe Stepke is new at the helm, but he is doing a fantastic job. We're gonna give
good job.
Good job, Joe.
Thank you. I live for the accolades. That's all I live for.
Easy. People think all of this is easy to do. It's
Yeah.
not.
Sometimes I make it look easy, but I'm
Yeah.
like,
Actually, Ira does make it look easy because all I'm doing is just sitting here doing this. Yeah.
so
Good.
I didn't realize. I have to admit to something. I didn't realize. Okay, so all that time when we're dancing in the beginning, you know, like usually we have that music going, I could see you before. So I didn't realize you guys couldn't see me.
Oh, so you couldn't see.
Yeah. So like me and Rachel were sitting there the whole time going, what's happening? Like if I didn't know, I wouldn't have known. Like now I know. I'm glad I tell my guests like beforehand. Like you know.
Well, I first off, let's introduce our special guest star.
Yeah, who doesn't know Rachel Beck? If you don't know Rachel Beck, I'm gonna fall out of my chair because you should know. She is awesome.
Thank you so much for your kind words.
Rachel is one of those people that, okay, first of all, she has a huge audience and that's cool. But she's, what I love about Rachel is she's like a real human being. I was watching your video earlier, Rachel. You were talking about being authentic and, you know, engaging. And I'm like, it's sad that all these years later, we still have to explain that to people. But what I love is you're not just saying it, because some people say it, but they don't do it. Like you actually do it. And that's why I love Rachel Beck so much. She's a real person.
Yeah, I love for you guys. You know, I'm trying to like set an example. You know, as I'm going through it, like, you know, dropping that video this morning, I'm still like having to block somebody for writing a rude comment, you know, in direct messages. But seriously,
I do that one time.
I'm gonna tell you what. So yesterday, I'm just done with spammers. I'm just like on LinkedIn. If you spam me, you might as well just separate from me because I'm gonna go in and separate from you. So as I'm writing that comment to you, Rachel, on your video, somebody sent me spam that I just connected with yesterday. I'm like, okay, so you waited to get to be my first, because, you know, like you're 30,000, I'm at 30,000. Like, you know, I don't have room. So I have a waiting list. So what happens is I make room by people spam me, and then I go in and I grab somebody else. So yesterday I removed a couple spammers, made room, added some new people. So I'm okay. I'm back on my 30. And then today, one of the people that I let in, they spam me. And I'm like, well, I could have just left the other spammer in, I guess. So anyways, interesting. But
Hi, Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina.
I'm just, remember, I'm new at this, Rachel. So I'm like
Sabrina's on my.
I had to go over to the comments. That was coming up. So,
Julia, I was just in Vegas and I didn't see you. I'm so disappointed. Julia's in Vegas too. So
I love Vegas.
I was just there over the weekend. I took a bunch of pictures. So Julia's there. She's amazing. But
I love that your notification caught my attention. Interesting title. I'm intrigued. Well, the Cup of Joe, I know it's on Friday nights, but you could drink anything.
I'm drinking coffee right now.
I actually have vodka and cherry juice in here. I wish I could tell you I'm lying. I'm really not. It's like one of the hard seltzer vodka things and cherry juice. So.
What kind of vodka? You just told us 660.
Smirnoff.
Smirnoff.
So I mean, whatever one you want. Could I have gone Tanqueray? No, Tanqueray is gin. I think they do have a vodka. I don't know. I'm not really that much of a connoisseur, but yeah, whatever.
That's all right.
It's nice to see you like out of your suit, because usually when I see you, you're in your suit. You got your fedora going on, and you're like today, right?
Right. I actually was, when I was working yesterday, and I took a picture. I was in a polo yesterday, and it had the logo on there, which and by all things, let me start it now. I didn't put this in the comments. I don't think I finished writing it out in there, but all the ideas and opinions expressed on this show has no bearing with the SEMA and/or Rent-A-Center. So I just want to put that out there, because Joe, the finance guy, is its own separate entity.
I thought you had that squared away. No?
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know where it is now. I don't know. I wish I could tell you it's somewhere, but anyway,
we have a lot of breaking news today. So how do we want to do this? Do we want to go into Rachel?
I want to listen to Rachel.
Yeah, so let's do this. So Rachel, just so you know, what we typically do, it's like a Seinfeld episode where I harass Joe for about an hour, and then he says, I gotta go. That's what happens every show. But with guests, what we try to do, because we want to make sure that we get like a lot of you in this. You know what I mean? So could you do for like 5 minutes, just give us your backstory, and then Joe and I are going to pick your brain for like 20 minutes after that. And then, Joe, we got some breaking news. And if you need me to turn the music on for the breaking news, we've got some. You had breaking news this morning, and I have some breaking news this afternoon. I think this is turning into like a hell of a day for Joe and Ira. So
I think it is.
And we get to hang out with the wonderful
Rachel Beck.
I'm going to be in your old stomping grounds in New York, Rachel, next month, but I'm coming to see you sometime before the end of the year. I'm going to be down in Florida, and I'm going to make a point of taking you out to dinner while I'm down there.
Oh, thank you. I can't wait for us to go do that. Yeah, so I actually grew up outside Philadelphia, but a huge part, all my parents are New Yorkers, and I have so many happy memories of New York. And it is, Ira, my favorite city in the whole wide world. It truly is.
I've never been there. So, but enough about Ira, because Joe will tell you Ira will hog the whole show. We have a hashtag, Let Joe Speak. So right now we're going to adopt this is about
Rachel speak. Yeah,
Let Rachel speak.
Not about us.
Just for this show, because again, we want to be good hosts. Like we have to purposely do this, otherwise Joe and I will go off on wild tangents about vodka and cherry juice. So Rachel, tell us, how did you get started? I don't know. This I don't know, actually. Because I've heard your backstory many times. You're in trouble now. But how did you even get on like social media? Like what's the genesis story there?
I've been on social media, and the only social media I am on, which I've told Joe, is I'm only on LinkedIn. I'm not on Facebook. I have my reasons for that, which I'll share with you guys.
Smart lady.
Yeah. And I've had an account for a while. I would say it was the last 2 years I became way more involved with it. And I'm here pretty much as you guys are. We always wake up like, good morning, Ira. Good morning, Joe. What's going on today? And I've been trying to tell people that this is our virtual office. This is our space. And now that all people are working from home, they have a different understanding of it. But for us, this is the way it's been. Like this, yeah. We know how to do it. We've been working from home for a while. We know what it takes. I try to tell people the more you put into LinkedIn is what you get out. Because they'll say, I spend 10 minutes a week. I'm like, well, that's You're gonna get out in 10 minutes.
Hey, just look at it this way, guys. If you only spent 10 minutes a week at the gym, would you expect to get much results from it? I mean, it's the same idea.
Yeah. You're not gonna, unless you're dedicated. And a big part of it, the three of us know, the core key to success is building the relationships, building the friendships. That's how it's done. That's everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's how opportunities are going to come your way, and opportunities will come your way if you're a kind, respectful human being.
Wait till you hear my news.
Oh, I can't wait.
News. I will tell you what can happen if you just do what Rachel Beck is saying. Watch the show for the next 30 minutes, and when that breaking news happens, your eyes are going to probably get a little bit bigger. I'm having trouble processing it myself. It's like one of those. It's pretty cool. Anyways, continue.
Now we're waiting here. Like
2 years of investing in LinkedIn, and you have 200,000 followers, right?
235,000 actually.
Yeah,
maybe 236,000 at least last time.
For those of you out there who are watching right now, right, and you got like 1,000 followers or 10,000 followers or whatever, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. I've missed the boat. In May of 2018, I had 1,500 followers, right? I'm not famous. I'm not attractive. I mean, I like to think I'm funny, but it's more self-defense than anything else. But Rachel, you started 2 years ago, and you have 230 some odd thousand followers.
I've had an account for like 10 years, but I didn't really get like full.
I started LinkedIn, so we're similar now. I started LinkedIn in 2009, August of 2009, but I wasn't using it like I wasn't. A lot of people use it to find a job. I wasn't using it for that. I actually, because I'm in outside sales, what I was using it for was research. So I wanted to find like information on companies and find information on prospects that I was going to be calling on. So for me, it was a research tool. But I wasn't making posts. I wasn't engaging in comments. Nobody knew who I was. In fact, if you sent me a connection request, like most people, if I didn't know you, I would actually report you. I was antisocial because that's how the platform was, and that's what they told us to do, right? Like, oh, I don't know that person. So I had to change my philosophy. But so what was it then? So 2 years ago, you were not really using it very much, and then all of a sudden you started using it. What was it that kind of made you want to switch and get active?
Yeah, I think it was a couple things. I think that I saw the need. I saw things going on in our world that wasn't necessarily good, and I figured it was a place to have those conversations about really hard topics that people won't discuss.
I remember seeing some of your videos, and I wanted to like reach through the screen and give you a hug. Like there was one day you were walking down the street, and there was the 4 guys in the truck. I don't know if you want me to tell the whole story. I will, or I can let you tell it. But like that day, I was like, how dare people do that? Still, like I grew up in a different frame of mind in the Bay Area. Like we're a melting pot, and in Vegas when I was a kid, we're a melting pot. So like, I didn't grow up thinking about race, I guess, the way maybe most people do, but maybe, I don't know. I mean, it just seems like a different world. So for me, like, I was shocked that people were still dealing with that. Now, Joe, you had Sabrina up. Okay, Sabrina is my virtual assistant at Bowman Digital Media. She works with me. She's on my team. Okay. She was telling me one day about when she's walking down this. Well, I don't want to speak for her. I don't want to be out of turn. But anyways, let me just summarize it this way, because I don't want to speak for Sabrina, and I don't want to say something that's incorrect. So let me just say it this way: she has to think about things that I have never had to think about. There are situations that I would feel actually comfortable, where she actually will feel, and uncomfortable is not even the right word. You know what I mean? Like fear.
Yes, that's the perfect word.
And I think, God dang it, why are we still living in a world like that? Because it makes no sense. Like I would do anything for any, like I don't, you know what I mean? Like my wife said something the other day. In fact, we were talking about Facebook. She was reading this meme. It was a meme on Facebook, and it said this. It said, "What would you pour on your ex if they were on fire?" And the person was trying to be funny, said nothing, but I would sing "Burn MRFer," with that MRFer burn, that song. I don't like to use that word, but anyways, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
That song, yeah. Just look at me like, what song are you talking about, Ira?
Yeah, exactly that.
What song you're talking about?
Yeah. So, but my wife was like, "Why do people think like that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. They just like, I don't. I wouldn't
Can I
use
answer Julia's comment too? She just wrote something. She was talking about education. I've been speaking on diversity awareness for 15 years. For 15 years, I've been talking about this. It came up. I was having coffee with one of my friends, late at night, one of those 24-hour diners, and she's a professor in a university.
Yeah.
And she said, "Listen, will you come into my class and will you educate my students?" And I said, "Sure." So I started giving these talks, and then I do it in churches, synagogues. So I'm very, very proactive in being part of the solution and not the problem.
Well, I love what you were talking about today, Rachel. Even in that video, you said it, and it's 100% true. It's just like me screaming "Amen" at you via my video this morning. I don't know if you heard it, but I said. But you're like, people need to be respectful of your religion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, I am a Christian, okay? I'm not embarrassed about that. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I talk about it in my profile. I know that's kind of taboo. But here's the thing that I'm doing with it. I'm not telling it because I'm going to say that I'm smarter than you or everybody who doesn't think like me is wrong. Like, that is who I am. But if you come on any of my shows, I don't care if you're a Jew or you're Muslim or you're any other religion, Hindu, whatever, you're never going to hear me picking on you or arguing with you or trying to make you feel stupid or any of that stuff, because that's not what I believe. Like, I believe in everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. The only thing I don't like with religion is when people try to like make it a fight. Like, no, let's not make it a fight. The same thing with politics. Like, I don't care if you're liberal or conservative. That's your right to believe how you believe. Just don't, try to make me feel stupid because I believe how I believe. And that's the one thing on LinkedIn and social media I just don't talk about at all. Because there's too many people that cannot see straight when they're politically charged. But
so, Rachel, I don't know if you're finished yet. Can you finish? Because you said let you teach. You're teaching
Diversity awareness. Yeah.
right, and I don't know if you were done with what you were saying too, but I know that you do that all the time. I was trying to look around for your book because I have your book here.
I know it's so sweet. But I want to
in the back cave.
I do have it in the back cave. It's not.
It could be anywhere. Have you seen that thing? Like, turn your green screen off.
No.
I've seen it because him and I will do like videos. So I want to bring up something you're talking about. Really, really important. So same thing with me. So people know that I'm Jewish, and I'm pretty vocal about that. So, and I was pleading for people to just respect each other's religions, cultures, because I've come to where people they're either pushing their religion on me, or they're trying to convert me. I'll get a message, and it's not appropriate because I would never do that to somebody else. It's just not appropriate.
That's the thing. And I don't know if you know this, I was born Jewish, right? So that's my family lineage is Judaism, right? So I get it from all sides. Trust me, I understand, but I agree with you 100%. That's why you and I like each other so much. Like, you can say
boundaries.
I love it. Joe and I fight all the time.
I'm listening to you guys and just going, I'm Ira, let Rachel just talk. Let me get 5 minutes. I get it.
Hashtag again. Joe, put me on mute. All right, I'm going to mute myself.
No, I'm not putting you on mute because it's funny when you do it. I like it. That's why.
I just feel like Rachel's my sister, so I just want to jump right in. But
no,
this is why we have to do this, because I will keep talking.
Yes, we've known Rachel for
a long time.
Yeah,
but it's not just know. Like, there's plenty of people that I know, but Rachel, I admire.
I feel the same way about you guys.
I tell her that all the time. I try to make
an example of what it's like to be a gentleman on this platform. So I give you a standing ovation for that.
Oh, well, thank you, because there's times where I don't feel like a gentleman.
No.
I'm actually joking.
No, I know. And that's the thing, that's the message. Like, that's why when I'm on your post or, hi, Mariella. Like, it's the same thing. I'm like,
yeah.
please connect with them. Please follow them. And then trying to explain to people when men are gentlemen.
Yeah.
And my network the men in my network are amazing, but it's teaching that to the other generation. Oh, thank you. But to
No, I agree with this.
that example as a male content creator, what it means to be a gentleman.
Yep.
I mean, you should see some of the comments I've got.
I'm trying to go through some of these comments, and I hope I'm doing it justice on here too. But
I haven't even been on LinkedIn. I'm usually on it, so let me pop over there. And I can help.
So you and I are going to make a really interesting topic because I'm curious to see what you say. It's a deep topic too.
For me, oh boy, all right, go ahead.
Okay, so my favorite character ever, she's when I was a kid, is Wonder Woman. You are DC, right?
I'm both.
Okay.
I'm both. Oh, hold on a minute. I just want to.
Yeah, you see what that?
Can you teach Ira?
Hi, Lisa.
You see that crap I have to put up with? That woman's mean to me.
But anyways, I originally, and if we go back into when I was in the military, I didn't know we were going to turn this around on me, but thank you, Rachel, because it is one of my favorite topics is talk about me. So sure. When I was she asked me the question, I have to answer.
Well, some people don't. They don't. They're like I'm a huge Marvel fan and DC. I think that you can be both.
Yeah, you can be both. And I originally liked Batman, but I like Batman because he was the world's greatest. I'll do that for you. All right. The world's greatest detective, besides Sherlock Holmes. And I used to watch Sherlock Holmes and all that back, on WGN, Family Classics, whatever. But Batman was the ultimate detective. And that's what I liked about it. It was just an ordinary man. However, Marvel, I always liked too. And I actually started with Wolverine. I love Wolverine. And I remember when they announced Hugh Jackman to play him back in like 2001 or something like that. And I was thinking to myself, I was looking at the picture, I'm going, how could they? He's this tall. There's no way he could be Wolverine. Wolverine's like this short guy. And I go, the only person that could play it is probably me. Yeah, it was probably me, but obviously that wasn't going to happen. And then it came out, and Hugh Jackman did such a great job.
Oh, amazing.
He did. I think it was just awesome. So I love the X-Men. I have figures in here of the X-Men and stuff. So it's a melting pot.
But he says he has figures in there. Well, he doesn't mean like 3. I just want everybody to understand.
They're collector's items.
Yeah, they're collectors.
He's got like 3,000 of them on his wall.
Yeah, there's a lot. And I actually just got some new ones the other day. There's some that came in from Amazon today too.
So Joe, if I was running the show right now, I'd be showing that GIF.
Oh, the GIF. Well, why would you show the GIF?
Is he in a suit? So
he's got these knives from the Wolverine. Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, there's no way to show, you don't need to
show Joe the finance guy. I don't think we have that on your website. I need to put that GIF on your website.
Freddie Krueger just popped into my head. That's the first thing.
Yeah, this is Wolverine's. It's not Freddie Krueger's. Remember,
we need to give
was in the glove, Rachel.
But we need to give Liz Jones some credit because she's the one who actually made that one, I think, right?
That's true. I was on the I was on coffee, like a coffee breaker. I was doing something with Liz. I think Paula was on there or whatever. And
Kelly, right? It was
Kelly, and we were just talking, and I just went like this, and then next thing you know.
Yeah, my wife said she thinks of Freddie Krueger with those too.
Right? They look exactly like the Freddie Krueger. Okay, so I've never thought
when I was a kid.
It would give Freddie Krueger was those in '84. Johnny Depp. We were young,
right?
We were young when that movie came out.
And Jason.
Yes.
Jason from Friday the 13th. That was and Michael Myers.
Myers. I'm not a horror movie person. It's my least favorite genre because I find like some of the stuff is really,
That
really.
was back when we were watching movies on VHS tapes.
Returning it to Blockbuster, West Coast Video Blockbuster.
Now Hollywood Video. Yeah, come on. Please rewind. Be kind, rewind.
Yes.
Do you know I woke up this morning and I watched Wonder Woman 84 this morning?
Did you like it?
Oh, I thought it was great. I like Gal Gadot playing.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That didn't get great reviews, so I didn't watch it.
when the first one came out. Oh, that's just funny. I didn't even. Sorry.
The first one, I was like in tears in the theater. I was so glad.
And the one thing it was one of the best DC movies ever. I mean, out of all the DC ones, I mean, that one was really good. And listen, I'm a guy that's watching it, and I was just like this the whole time. So
yeah, I saw it in the theater with my mother and my niece, hi, honey. My niece looked at me and she goes, because I got like emotional because it's Wonder Woman. Like I had the bathing suit, ran around like everyone as a kid. They came. I mean,
they were called underoos, Rachel. I know.
They had like Wonder Woman bathing suits with a little cape.
Yeah. Did you rope people with the lasso of truth?
I mean, I have two brothers, right? So they were Batman or Superman. Their little sister was Wonder Woman. So like my niece was like, "What do you mean? There's never been a Wonder Woman movie?" I'm like, "There's never been one. This is epic." I'm like, I told her.
No.
She couldn't understand that. Like, how come Wonder Woman has never been given a movie before? Like,
I think she did great, but I liked Wonder Woman 1984. I love Justice League, the Zack Snyder edition.
You got to put up Julia's comment right now. She says, "You guys are freaking hilarious."
we have a good time.
Yeah, we kind of have
fun. I'm trying to fix my head on the screen here. It's not working.
But I Wonder Woman is awesome. I think she's great. Gal Gadot is just perfect for it. That's bottom line.
That's the actress's name, Gal Gadot.
Gal Gadot, yeah.
Am I right? Did I say that right? I think.
Yeah, no, it's Gal Gadot. How I've never heard Batman described as a detective. That's never ever.
Oh, I'm sorry, but and actually in the early comic books, it was.
My wife is volunteering to get some Wonder Woman underoos right now.
I think it was.
Does that exist? I got Wonder Woman. Did you have the bathing suit, Elisa? When I was little, not recently.
That would have been funny. Oh, it was just last year. The past 3 years.
Oh no, she had the bathing suit. She doesn't.
Then we'd have the hashtag Strive for 10 instead of Strive for 9.
But I'm trying to think back. I think there was a comic book, World's Detective, or maybe it was World's Greatest Detective or World's Greatest. It was called World's Greatest, and that's where Batman was, but he was a detective. That was his whole thing.
So, Rachel, you're DC, not Marvel.
No, I love both. Like, I think both worlds can come together. I know there's going to be a lot of like,
I still don't know the difference. Like, I know two names now, but that's all I know.
I love the characters in Marvel, and I love the characters in DC. I love them both. I love Justice League. But he's not detective. I'm really confused about it.
Well, I mean, it depends the way you want to look at it. If you're looking at it
from the TV show.
What?
From the TV show?
Well, yeah.
No, from the 70s?
Hold on a minute. Not Adam West. I mean, I like Adam West. I think he was amazing in what he did. He just wasn't my Batman. My Batman was Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
That is my Batman.
That's the one I grew up with too. Because I didn't ever watch the show, but I remember I was in the 5th grade when the Batman Michael Keaton show when that Michael Keaton movie came out, I was in the 5th grade. So is that 10?
We were young when that came out.
1989.
Wow, you know that. That's impressive.
No, so I was a little bit older because I was born in 1977. So then I would have been 12 when that came out.
It was a big deal too. Remember how huge it was?
Yes, it was. And Bob Kane, who was the actual start. Yeah. I know it goes back and forth on who really started it, but he was the one that's recognized as the person that started Batman, and he was there Stan Lee actually went with Bob Kane to the movie premiere of Batman. If I remember correctly, from one of Stan Lee's documentaries.
My wife fell asleep in the movie theater.
Did you? And I actually one of those. What was the one with Poison Ivy? There was one with.
Oh yeah.
It was with the ice guy Arnold Schwarzenegger played.
Yeah. That's the one with
That one not. It was what?
Uma Thurman.
Yeah, that was a different one.
Yeah. That's the one I hate. That's that.
Yeah, I don't like that one either. The Michael Keaton one, though, that first one, like we'd already talked about it. Remember, you would rent the movies and you would get them for 2 days or 3 days. Like if it was a new release, you get for 2 days, and a regular one you get for 3 days. So we only had it for like 48 hours. And I think my family, we watched that movie like 5 times.
Yeah, it was a big deal.
Over 2 days. Yeah, it was a big deal.
And then it was Prince had the song that came out.
Yeah. Oh my God,
that song was everywhere. It was like during the summer, I think when they dropped the movie, because they had done so much PR and marketing for it.
The Bat Dance. And I have that on my iPod or my iPhone.
Do you?
Yes, I do. I can't play it because we get banned.
Gotcha.
What happened?
Yeah. So Rachel, did you know that Ira Jr. is a Batman fan, and he will tell me that Batman can beat up Superman because they messed up the movie somehow?
No, they didn't mess it. Whatever.
You guys, how many kids do you have? You and Lisa have?
Well, Alicia
yes.
Have 7, but we have 8 kids too. Yeah.
How many? Like 9? Do you have 9 kids?
My wife and I have 7 together, but I had one from a previous relationship, so it's actually kind of funny. Alicia and I met before the other one was born, because it wasn't a marriage, it was we were boyfriend girlfriend thing, and we broke up, and then we found out that she was pregnant. So anyways, complicated story, but the bottom line is Alicia and I have 7 kids together.
Congratulations to you.
Yeah, 8 total. So
congratulations. I had the the Batmobile was really neat, and I knew that Christian Bale was amazing. Someone just was talking about.
They used lighting in that. They used lighting in that movie really, really well to hide the lack of graphic capabilities that they have. Like, there's better graphic capabilities today, obviously, than in 1989. But if you watch the movie, the way they use the lighting and stuff, they did such a good job with that.
It was a great job on how they do that. And he's my Batman. The Batmobile, believe it or not, my wife looked for that last year to buy it for me.
Oh.
And she was going to buy it. I'm not allowed to have a Corvette or anything. I won't tell you why.
I'm curious.
What she said as to why, but she said something about I'm not allowed to have a Catwoman mobile or something. I don't remember. It wasn't the same verbiage, but I'm trying to keep it clean. Whatever. But anyways, I wasn't allowed to have that, but she looked for it for me for my 50th. And that I promise you, I wouldn't have driven it. I would have made like a little monument on my yard, like however long it was. I would have put a cement thing and I would have parked it there and put a bubble over it.
So you didn't see my Batman video, did you? You never saw it.
I don't know if I did. I don't think so.
Okay, I have to text it to you. So I did the Warner Brothers Studios tour a couple years ago in California.
Uh-huh.
And with my father, it was amazing. We had the best time. And you get to make movies, as part of the studio. So I picked Batman. So I have to send it to you.
Oh my God. That
I was on the motorcycle. Like I was on the motorcycle and they give me directions like what to do. And it's the scene when he's like under the tunnel, and the truck and everything's going, but you get to do that
with Christian Bale. And where I think that was filmed. I thought it was filmed in Milwaukee Waukegan, at the mall in Waukegan, Illinois, or something like that. But that would be, you're talking about on the bike.
I got on the bike. Yeah.
Man, that would be awesome.
I had to text it to you. Yeah, but it's a chance. It was so neat. I got to do that in like Harry Potter. But if you have that. But if anybody is out there in California, go do the Warner Brothers tour. It is absolutely incredible. Have you done it, Ira? You're out there.
I'm busy.
Yeah. It's if you get a chance, go. I'm busy.
I'm always working. I never stop. Like, literally, it's ridiculous. So that's why I have to go away. I have to go away so I can get away from my computer.
Yeah.
Well, I do have a Chrysler 300 Gotham City edition.
So Joe, you would love it. Oh my God, you would love it.
I took off everything that was Chrysler on it, and put like the Michael Keaton, it was in silver logo. It's not gaudy or anything. I think it looks pretty cool. I'll see if I could upload a picture or whatever and show everybody. So
Okay, and I'll send you. It's really neat. It really is. It's such an experience to like get in there, like, because I'm a diehard movie fan. Like, that's movies. I've just been a movie fan most of my life. Why must I find out work is?
I don't know.
We do, buddy.
Really, gosh, I wonder who her boss is. You know,
I love.
Probably a big jerk. He's probably a big jerk.
I'm going to say that Alicia does the best graphics for Joe the Finance Guy. So,
Dude, just wait. And my daughter Marley was making some for you today too. I got up. So Marley's a teenager. You know what I mean? She gets up at 10 o'clock. So I'm in here, and my wife's workstation's right there. So I'm in here, and I look over because I had my headphones on. I think I was watching your video, Rachel, at the time. I look over, my daughter's got like a picture of a shopping cart up, and I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I was dreaming about Joe the Finance Guy graphics, and I need to make them.
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
Seriously,
it's kind of cool. But
all right, I'm finding the Batmobile.
They're both learning how to use Illustrator. I'm teaching them both how to use Illustrator and then master Photoshop right now. So it's kind of fun. But my wife has been using Canva for a long time. So
I love Photoshop.
Yeah, everybody likes Canva until they get into Photoshop, and then it's like I would never go back. And she said that to me today. She's like, "Yeah, I don't think I could ever go back to Canva." I'm like, "I told you it was going to happen." It's just
I used it for 10 years when I was a photographer. So Photoshop was a huge, when I did that work.
So I did too. So it's kind of funny because when I got into graphic design, we actually had Illustrator and we had Photoshop on different computers because back then they were just good night processing because the processors back then were slow. So the day that I started in graphic design, I just happened to be sitting in front of the Photoshop computer, and my boss happened to be sitting in front of the Illustrator, and we had jobs we needed to like crank out. He's like, I'll tell you what, Ira, you get going on that one and I'll get going on this one and we'll get these jobs done. So I actually started my graphics design career in Photoshop, not in Illustrator. So my preference for all these years has been Photoshop just because that was like where I learned, that's where I cut my teeth. But really now you just have to know what you're doing. Like anything vector, you're creating a logo or something from scratch, you want to be using Illustrator. And if you're, like going to take Joe's head off and put a Batman thing on or like that, then you do that in Photoshop.
I cannot find the Batmobile. Sorry. I tried.
But I was teaching my wife how to do masking in Photoshop yesterday. So she was like trying to redraw this long arrow and recolor it and stuff. I'm like, why are you doing that? Just mask it and change the color in the base layer. And she's like, I don't know what you mean. So I showed her.
It's a big learning curve. Look, I worked with Photoshop for 3 years.
Do you guys know who Lisa Jones is?
Yes.
So Lisa Jones is the president of Goodwill Global Ambassadors, right? So I just got done designing a logo for them today, actually. So she was on a Zoom call with me, and I was showing her how to do vector. She's using Canva. So anyway, she's watching me work, and she's like, oh, my gosh, there's so much to this. And I'm like, I know there's a lot of power, but also there's a lot that you can screw up or to mess with. So anyways, that was kind of fun. But
there's a lot. And the other thing, Ira, the three of us are big on, and we know it's because we have a friend, we'll just leave her name out, that you and I are behind 100%, is to empower that generation too, because that's really, really, really crucial, to help out, the 20-year-old, that generation where they're stepping out there, they're just starting.
Well, let's talk about this for a second, right? Like a good leader is not somebody who creates a lot of followers and gets people to follow them. A good leader is somebody who creates and helps develop other leaders.
That's crucial. That is,
you know what I mean? So our friend that you're talking about, I don't know if we want to name her or not, but whatever, but yeah, I'm always looking for people that, and I get hit up on, I probably didn't say that right, but I get people to reach out to me. They're in the marketing space or in the design space. They're like, hey, how did you do that? How do you do that? It's like, I'll teach you. They're like, you're not gonna like charge me? And I'm like, no, because you know what? When I need, there are people that I still reach out to for help.
That's right. We all need help, and let's get that message out there.
Yeah.
This is a message. People think we all need help. I have my mentors, and I know if I need something, I can text Ira, I can text Joe, and go, "How do we do this? You know, how can we?"
100%.
And that's something people think. They think that we don't, and no, we all need help.
And you even said it earlier. You know, the collaborators, we all know each other. Content creators, we know each other. Of course we do, and we reach out and we help each other all the time.
Yep.
Like that thing that we did for Derek, right? The LinkedIn Influencers Summit. I mean, that's not atypical for the way we work together behind the scenes anyways.
Right. It's like, hey, you know, Rach, can you do this? Absolutely. How can I help you? What do you need? That's what it comes down to. And this is what people are missing. Like, we three of us know this. Take the time. I told my network last year when we all got locked in last March. I told them last March, you're home, build the friendships now. And 1 year later, you're going to thank me that you took the time to do that.
Oh, yeah. And hopefully you spent more than 10 minutes a week on this thing. Come on.
Yes. Well,
I know I did. I know that Joe, the finance guy, took off more so during.
You personally, Joe, you're perfect, right? So you had just a few months ago, you had 14,000. You're almost at 20 now, or you go
41.
Yeah.
1,000.
I'm sorry, I'm always lagging on these numbers because it's not the most important thing to me anymore. But yeah, so I mean, you grew by 30% just in the last couple months.
Yeah. And Joe, the finance guy, actually hit 2,000.
Did it hit? It just hit then. Yeah.
It just hit today. It hit 2,000. So
yeah, so I guess we should make a post about that.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll leave that up to, I know a guy.
You know a guy. There's a guy behind the scenes working.
Yeah, there's a guy behind the scenes. I know that somebody does that stuff for me.
Yeah. But we could talk about that too. And this is the other thing, Rachel, right? So like we've been talking about this from the personal front, doing this stuff for yourself personally. But my company was born, and I guess we can get into the breaking news stuff. But so my company was born 11 months ago. Joe was on a Zoom call with me because we're really good friends. Joe and I were on a Zoom call on a Friday night, and I got a call from my boss, and I was like, he's about to congratulate me. Give me 30 seconds.
Yeah, he did. Oh my gosh, that was
congratulate me because I had a $100,000 deal on the table that I just basically got the verbal on.
And so it's not funny. I mean, it wasn't funny then.
It's funny now.
Because he's going like this. I go, do you want me to let you go? He goes, no. Stay on with me. Few minutes. He just wants to congratulate me. Big deal. And so he puts him on speaker.
Oh, I always put people on speaker. So if you know me, I do not put the phone in my head because I'm one of those guys. I don't want the stuff going through me. So I put it on speaker. So if you're on phone with me, you're always on speakerphone. Just so you know. Anyways, so I put it on speaker, and Joe's there, and my boss comes on the phone. It was the last day of May. He goes, I have some really bad news. We're going to put you on furlough. And I was like, what's that? I don't even know what that is.
I'm trying to get off at the time too.
Oh yeah, I would get off the phone.
I'm like stuck.
He had to explain that to me, and I'm like, okay. But what he told me was, well, 30 days. We're not laying you off. We're not letting you go. It's one of these cost saving measures. You're actually going to get paid, by unemployment. So you just have to file your paperwork, and you actually have to pay for your benefits that the company will still provide while you're on this furlough thing. And I'm like, okay. But Joe and I had talked about before all that started about me building his website, Joe, the finance guy, for him. But I was too busy. I didn't have time. So Joe goes, so you got some time? You want to build my website? So Bowman Digital Media was born officially June 9th of 2020 during the pandemic. What do? We do social media management for businesses. Like Joe is busy doing his job. He doesn't have time to do social media for his business. He's got to do what he can for himself, like Joe Stepke, not Joe the finance guy. So he actually pays me, and I do Joe the finance guy's the bulk. I shouldn't say all of it. We do the bulk of it for Joe the finance guy, so he can focus on helping his customers and building his business. Well, over the past 11 months, so I never jumped in, and I got to give credit to like Curtis Tompkins and Joe Stepke and a bunch of other people were trying to encourage me for a while to start my own business because they saw that I had the talent to do it. But I was like, I have 8 kids and a wife and a mortgage and it's due. You know what I mean? So I was really proud that first month in June, I was able to pay my bills without having to borrow any money or dip into my savings. And I thought that's really cool. Well, check this out. 11 months after I started, we broke $100,000 of invoicing. So
Congratulations.
Yeah, we invoiced over. We're well over it now. But so my goal in the beginning was just to like pay the mortgage until I found a job. Like that's what I was thinking. Like let me really but along the way, I've actually had several job offers that I've turned down because I'm like, I'm doing fine. I'm making more money right now than I was making at ARC, which was the people that laid me off. So anyways, that's my big news, Joe, is we officially crossed that threshold.
Congratulations.
We got an invoice. So thank you for that. But also I would be remiss because Joe, we do press releases for Joe the Finance Guy usually every 3 months. That's kind of, our frequency. So we did a press release for Joe a few days ago. In the first 2 days, we were picked up by 339 news outlets for his press release. I think that's amazing. My typical press release gets picked up by about 200. Sometimes it's a little under, sometimes it's a little over, but anywhere from 180 to 220 usually outlets will pick us up. But this story, I told him when I finished it, I'm like, this is going to be a big one because of the content of the story. And we were talking about, for those of you who are not familiar with the outdoor furnishing industry, the outdoor furnishing industry is expected to grow to hit $12 billion of annual sales by 2024. Yep. So that's growth year over year of just about 4% for the next 3 years. So in the article, we're talking about something other people have written about it. But one thing that Joe does, his business does, that it was not covered in any of the articles I could find, was how to address the people who want the furniture, who don't have access to the cash or the credit.
Right.
And that's what Joe the Finance Guy does for retail establishments. It gives them a non-credit needed payment option for people who don't have $1,000 in the bank that they can use, and they don't want to, maybe they're going to be buying a house or a new car or whatever, and they don't want to use their credit. They don't want the credit ding. So what do you do with those people? Well, if you can figure out a vehicle that allows you to help to service those people, you can gain sales. And it's a no cost of goods sold for the business owner because the consumer pays the Finance Guy fee. Right. So that's what the press release ultimately was about. And I knew it would be big because it addressed a piece that nobody had hit yet. And it's one of those things, it's a hot topic right now. So anyways, I wasn't surprised.
Press releases are important. I was talking to Joe about that. Press releases are important.
Yeah.
I was actually telling Rachel about what we talked about earlier, the 2 that I'm doing. I don't want to say them out there.
Yeah. So we're working on a couple more for
our friend.
One of my retailers that I know could do a lot. And
let me tell you, that guy is super excited about it. I talked to him again this afternoon, Joe, after we talked.
The reason why I wanted to do it was because it's just interesting because Joe the Finance Guy is almost like in an island unto himself, especially now I'm on an island a little bit, and even all the retail, because I've signed up over 1,000 locations in the almost 6 years I've been with the company, and I'm still having all my old retailers that are still with us, but I'm not servicing them. They're still calling me right now.
Yeah.
So it's
how they know and love.
Yeah, and actually, it was funny because of the press release. I had so many people calling me and go like this, who would have known? And I was telling them, so there might be more business without me having to spring.
Yeah, well, I like it. I like it when they spring because I charge them more. Joe gets a discount because Joe's been with me. Joe is my longest standing customer, so he gets better pricing.
Well, and going back to what he said, Rachel, when he was on the phone, I actually muted myself thinking I wouldn't hear him. Which was so stupid. I was like,
I would want privacy to hang up. Yeah.
I felt so uncomfortable. And then my wife goes, well, then why didn't you get off? And I said,
no, you know what? I'm going to tell you, I know this is how, and we had this conversation at the time, but it was important because that was the biggest professional kick in the gut that I've ever had. Because I had not only that deal that I just got the verbal on for $100,000, I had another one in the pipeline that I was expecting to get on Monday. And I still, to this day, never know if they got it or not because they never brought me back. But I had two $100,000 deals for my territory. That was a huge deal. You know what I mean? So it was the last thing I was expecting. All I was expecting was a congratulation call. That's all I was expecting. So to go from being congratulated to, yeah, we're going to furlough you, which I didn't know what that meant. But, Joe was there after that. We probably talked for a good half hour, or maybe an hour.
Well, because, everybody's been, not everybody, but a lot of people have been there.
Yeah.
And
I needed that.
I stayed on because of you being a friend.
Yeah.
That's why
I needed it.
And I didn't want to kick a man when he was down, but that was, now it's a little bit comical. And it's like, you told me you'd do my website.
You got some time.
It looks like you got some time now. So
is that what you said? Is that what you said?
Yeah, it was sort of close to it.
Yeah. But you're fine. Yeah.
I did it in the cocky, funny way that I have.
But that's our relationship too. I mean, for those of you that don't understand that Joe and I are dynamic, we tease each other mercilessly.
I didn't do it in. I
know how kind you both are.
If we were on the phone if we were on there for a half hour, 25 minutes was really empathy. What are you going to do going forward? And then the last 5 minutes was, since you got the time.
Yeah, you made him smile. And that's what we probably needed at that moment was like.
Well, honestly, too, if it wasn't for that, I don't know if I would have started. I mean, just go back to what I just said, guys. 11 months later, I've invoiced over $100,000.
And I paid you right away. I think I got off the call and I just.
Oh, he paid me to make sure I had to do it. Yeah.
What a good. So you did that to keep him motivated and to get him.
No, he did it so I couldn't back out.
Right, I did it because he couldn't back out. I got somebody to do my website for $500. Have you seen Joe the finance guy? Oh my gosh, that was great. And he still works on it for me, which is just awesome.
And that's what it is. It's the friendships. That's exactly what it is. You said. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, Rachel.
You said something really important that people need to hear. You talked about not kicking people when they're down.
Yeah.
This is something I see every day, and it is so crucial now not to do that. Right. The job seekers need our support right now. So I'll see somebody posting something, and they'll say, "Looking for this, looking for that," and I'll see the most negative comments, and I'm like, "Come on." This male or female is out there right now looking for work. You don't know their financial situation. You don't know what they're going. And to sit there and kick somebody like you're talking about,
right?
When it's down, it's not the way you do it.
No.
This is where I would put Project Help You Grow up if I was running this, right? So Project Help You Grow, for those of you who don't know, I started Project Help You Grow back in 2018 when I was making a lot more money. Okay, I was making a lot more than I'm making now. And I financed the whole thing myself. One of the things that scared me when I got laid off, because I financed Project Help You Grow personally,
bless you,
was that I was gonna have to shut it down.
Thank you.
What is Project Help You Grow? For those of you who don't know, Project Help You Grow is my free website. It's 100% free. I support job seekers, recruiters, and employers. Everybody uses it for free. Nobody pays for anything. Job seekers can put up their resumes and create a candidate profile. The recruiters can come and search through the candidate profiles and hire people. And the employers can put up, and so can recruiters, put up the job listings. And the whole reason I do that is for what you're just talking about, Rachel, is to support the job seekers, because it really is one of the things where people tie their self-worth, even though I don't think they should. I know that they do. They put their self-worth is related or tied to how much money they're making. And when they're not making money, they feel like they're less of a human being, or their self-esteem.
That's why you don't kick them. You we all, I try to do all the time. We all see your comments. Joe and I have talked about, we've talked about it. Like we all see the comments that are written. I had, we all have friends this year who, difficult financial times, worried like you talked about the mortgage, paying the bills, bank accounts being emptied out. This is reality.
Yep.
We all know people who have been laid off. We all know people who are walking on eggshells, wondering if they're still going to have a job. We know what's going on with people.
Yep.
I mean, that's the reality. And this is why we ask every day for people to just say, okay, for 1 second, imagine you have no idea what's going on in someone's life. I mean, there's things the three of us don't share. We maintain a certain level of privacy.
100%. I think it's funny when people think they know everything about me because I am out there, right? I mean, you have this public profile now as Ira, whoever that is. But trust me, there's still plenty that you don't know about, my snoring and my gas and
that's gonna be your next show with Joe.
Right. No, my wife is about to get on here and start telling y'all some stories and amening. But you know what I mean? There's plenty that people don't know. Like the struggle that we have with my oldest son, for example. Like that's not public. But my oldest son, his mom is not Alicia. His mother, I should say, is not Alicia. And his mother passed away. So, I mean, there's all kinds of layers and stuff that, people, my inner circle, like Joe, knows this stuff, but a lot of people don't know that, and it's really none of their business.
But that's why
I will say this: I wish that the world. There's lots of things that are good about what's happened in the world, but there are some things that it seems that have gone the opposite way. So this is what I want to say: I wish people would develop a little bit of thick skin, and know this. Sometimes, here's what I try to do. Let me just put it where I am, and I wish people would copy this a little bit. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Like if you are not sharing, okay, so for example, with my oldest son, we're having trouble. If I'm not sharing that publicly, and someone makes a joke about that, but they don't know the backstory, I could, but I don't think I should be offended because I haven't shared with them. Like, they don't know everything.
You haven't shared the why.
Yeah, so don't get offended so quickly about stuff that if you have kept it on the down low, and that's it, you're completely entitled to that. I'm not saying that's a problem. I just think, but if you have stuff that's like that, and then someone makes a joke about it, but they don't know that stuff, you know what I mean? Like, try not to be so offended by it because they don't know, right? Like now,
it's offensive they know and then they do it.
That's a whole different deal. Right?
That's a whole other thing because I've said stuff over and over again, and people still write me the same comment, and I'm like, I already talked about this.
Yeah. So that's a whole different deal. But it seems like people sometimes want to be offended, and I don't want the world to want to be offended. Like I want the people to want to get along. Like so, what I try to do is give people the benefit of the doubt. Like when you hear something and you could go with it a good way or a bad way, like unless you know for sure they meant it in the bad way, just try to presume that they did mean it in a good way or in a harmless way. And if you do that and then you treat people like people, then everybody should get along pretty well.
Well, one of the things, and to add, and first off, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I'm so transparent, it doesn't matter.
Transparent. It's like
I really don't care. Everything, what you see is what you get. But anyways, there are some things that I guess are sort of private, but yeah, whatever. But on that, I think seek to understand, then be understood is probably the best quote to use in that. Yeah. Because when people are out there and if they don't know, I don't think I've ever went back on people when they're upset, or it seems like they're upset in a post. I don't even delete them. I usually just ask the why.
Yeah.
And I know that others, I know Rachel and I have talked about it before, like, and others, just delete it, whatever and stuff. I don't even do it because that's just, well, one, I might engage with them to say the why, but I also don't know, what they're thinking. I mean, could it have been a language barrier?
Yeah. I've learned this, Joey. This is a great point. I've learned this too. Like sometimes I just read it wrong. Like it wasn't that they were being rude. It was that I didn't take the time to understand what they meant when they wrote it.
Yep.
Oh, that's good advice. So here's an example. Ready, Joe? You and I were just talking about this. I always do every year, Mother's Day post for the infertility community, the miscarriage community, because I'm deeply passionate about that. And yet, as many times as I've said, I'm not a mother. I still get the millions of questions about being a mom.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. So if people already know that, and then they continue to ask, that to me is, it's almost like, okay, but you want to know us, you want to learn the story, you want to understand why, and we're sharing it, opening our hearts, and then you get, that's what I'm talking about.
And I agree with you on there. And now that and I do appreciate when you were sharing too, because I'll know that I'll never say that. And I think when you take the online offline, and I love quoting Damon, because when Damon Patuka, I'm sorry, Damon, I messed it up. Remember, I'm drinking, so that's probably why.
So's Damon. Ironically, so's Damon.
Damon Pete. But anyways, when he made that up, the taking the online offline, I think it's so right, because then you get to really know some of the people. I cherish the friendships I have, like with Ira, with you, Rachel, with, Michael Ray. Michael Ray and I were on the phone last night for I think 45 minutes just talking and stuff, and I just his energy, just so many people out there. Brian Burke, Corey Warfield. There's just so many. Erica Warfield. So many people I enjoy having that with, having the time. Even talking with Damon, Nick Dorsey, Kelly Robinson, Liz Jones.
They're all great people. They're all outstanding.
They are. Every single one of them. I would do anything for any of those people. Like,
And when you get to learn about them, and you get to learn those little things about them, and you go, that makes it more personal when you talk to them.
And look at this, guys. For those of you who are watching, like, we all know every single one of those people. We can call them anytime. They'll take the call, blah, 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 right? But the fact is, if you're struggling at social media, it's probably because you're not taking the time to get to know the people. Like, we are not personas. We're actual
people, human beings.
Yeah, we're human beings. Like, we have feelings just like everybody else. We have pressure.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have pressure.
I don't know what they're talking about, people. I'm Batman. I have no idea where they're going. I
kid you not. My daughter was sitting, my sweet intern was sitting right there earlier today, and I said, "You hurt my feelings." She says, "You have feelings?" And I said, "Yeah, I have two of them, and you just hurt both of them." Anyways, but no, it's true. I think that's the difference between being successful in the digital space and not being successful is just thinking about what you can get, or just looking at, oh, this person's in, this business, or that person's in that business, and that's all they're good for. It's like, you don't try and box me, because even in my own marketing space, I'm an anomaly. Because most people, like, I sit here with this camera. Okay, this isn't just a prop. I actually use this every day. But I also am a graphic designer. I also am good at SEO. I build websites. I mean, any one of those could be an industry, a professional all by itself. I do all of them. Am I the best at any of them? I'm the first to admit, no, I'm like a Swiss Army knife. So I'm good for, I'm good for certain folks. I'm not good for other folks. But even with that, I own Project Help You Grow, right? I run a philanthropy. Yep. So, there's so many different parts of me, and that's just me. And I'm not saying I'm any better than anybody else. So I'm saying everybody, like Rachel, there's so much more to you than even what we've talked about in the last 60 minutes. And Joe, oh my gosh, I could write a book about Joe and all the stuff I know about him.
His story.
Any of it. You know what I mean? We haven't really covered any of it in this show. Like, so if you just go back and talk about the people we just named, right? Erica Warfield, Corey Warfield, Damon, Ron Craig, Nick Dorsey, Kelly Robinson,
Liz Jones, Paula Goodman.
Liz Jones.
All of them. Clap for them.
Those aren't just names. Those aren't just names to us. Those are our friends.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying to the people out there that are struggling with this? It's, you got to actually make the time to make the friends. And what started all this, what Joe said from Damon, you taking the online, offline, and you're going to have a conversation for 45 minutes with Michael Ray, who's one of the best people on the entire planet, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
I challenge you to find somebody better than Michael Ray as a guy. I mean, that guy is just amazing.
He's
Yeah,
amazing.
you're right. But I'll tell you, Nestle, Nestle. Oh man, how do you say her last name?
I don't know.
Nestle Hungurgen or whatever. She posts amazing stuff, diary stuff all the time. Jaren Hossein.
Oh, it's my sister.
Yeah.
But here's what I'm talking about, Joe. Like for those who are struggling, I think they're looking at what can we do to help them. And for some reason, people think like I'm obligated to help you just because I've somehow in your mind ascended this ladder, which I don't know what that ultimately means, but you know what I mean? Like I like to help people because I like to help people. So
Exactly. Thank you.
You know what I mean? But the fact is, whether you believe in karma or what I believe, you know, you reap what you sow, or almost every religion, it seems like has some way they express pretty much the same thing. You give what you get. And what I said in my post today, Follow You Friday post, was give to get. So instead of looking like that Pay It Forward movie, remember that movie? I love that movie, by the way, as a tearjerker. But anyways, pay it forward on social media. Be nice to people. Take the time to like
send it back down. Send that elevator back down. That is what I mean. If you did it, and you know, and I measure success very differently than other people do. Send it back down. Lift others up. That's how you do it. You know, that's the only way. You're gonna rise by lifting other people up. You didn't get there on your own. None of us did. Yes, get to know. Yes, I agree with that.
Julia is awesome. Every time I engage with Julia, I just want to give that lady a hug. And Mary,
that's a big no. I agree with her completely. What she just said.
Mariella is an amazing.
Send it down. Lift up. You know, keep every human. This is the message. This is what people are missing. Every human being on this platform is an equal, and nothing upsets me more when I see messages where someone's either criticizing, putting another one down, talking down to them. It's a huge big pet peeve of mine. You don't talk down to people.
Here's the funny too, like to what you said. Somebody goes, "Well, I'm this level or I'm that level." Okay, in that thing, you're this level. But what about this other thing? The other person might be an expert, and now you're going to switch places. If you treated them like they were, beneath you, then they should, you give what you get. Now, hopefully they're a better person than that, and they won't do that, and then I'll let you eat some humble pie. But I mean, realistically, I could say to my wife, "Oh, I'm a better graphic designer than you because I know these programs better." But honestly, then we could go to the kitchen, and she could blow me away. I can't make like macaroni right. You know what I mean? Like she could make.
Everyone has a gift on this platform. That's what people.
Yeah. You never know.
They dismiss people, and it is so sad to say. I'm like, really? I'm like, you have no idea.
Just because you can't see the way they can help you right now doesn't mean they can't help you. And it doesn't mean just because they can't help you right now, down the road, they won't be able to help you. Like, for example, there are people on the platform now that have larger networks than I do, that a year ago I had a bigger network than them. You know what I mean? And if I had treated them like, "Oh, I'm too big for you," like, you know what I mean? Then what would I expect them to treat me like now? But
right.
Because I don't treat anybody like that. My friends now that have millions of followers, they still want to help me. You know what I mean? Because I didn't treat them that way.
Oh, I had an interesting experience. I'll leave names out. When I was like going on, my journey or something, someone had written, more was way ahead of the journey. And we're all the same journey. Like, let's be honest. We all started at zero. This is where we are. We're all going to. But someone was rude to me, and it really was quite shocking. I had, just asked him, and he wrote, in direct messaging, was like, "This is not how you do this." And I was really, really shocked, and I was really, really taken back by it. I was like, okay, well, I know if I was ever in your position, I would never treat another human being like that. And I made that vow. Like, I was like, that's interesting. Okay, no, like I'll never dream. But it was very eye-opening to me.
Yeah, I had one of my quote unquote friends, and I just parted ways on social media 2 months ago because I had put a comment they had made a post, and it said something. I can't even remember, and I don't even want to get into it. But just to say
Yeah,
this,
you notice I'm rolling my eyes.
I had made
get into this now.
but I had made reference to my business because it was a direct answer to the question that they posed in the post, and I wasn't trying to like advertise my business. I just made reference to that's what I do in my business because, again, it answered the question. So they DM'd me and they said, "Are you trying to advertise your business on my post?" And at first I thought, well, no, I wasn't. But why would that matter?
Let's talk about that today, too.
Yeah, but I'm like, why would that matter?
You said that today on something.
The person responded and said, "Well, you know, I have an agency too." And I'm like, well, okay, if we really want to get into all of this, first of all, I was just trying to answer your question. And I'm sorry if that bothered you. You just delete it and no problem. And I said that. And she said, "Oh, don't worry, I already deleted it." I said, "Okay, good. So we're done, right? With that. Then she took it the next step. And she said, "I can't believe that you're trying to like steal food out of my mouth." And I'm like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. But
I don't even know who you're talking about.
I know you don't. I've never told this story publicly.
I was thinking somebody else.
And I won't name this person.
No, yeah. No.
Right. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line was, do you know that I host a show every Monday called Marketing Monday? And do you know what I do on the show, Marketing Monday? I bring other agencies, marketing business owners on my show. And guess what I do with them for a whole hour? I advertise their services on my show. On my show, when they're talking to my audience and they could hire me instead. But because what we were talking about in the beginning, it's like you help each other out. So I was like so thrown back by that. Anyways, long story short, the person handled it 100% the opposite way that I would have. They ended up unfriending me. We had known each other. We had been friends. These are people that I talked to on the phone for hours at a time. You know what I mean? Like crazy.
Friendships.
I gotta say something. If I may, I want to get in on something because one, I have somebody on Facebook. I've known this guy actually from.
Hi, Jim.
Jim.
He has a big fish. I don't know about network, but that fish is huge.
But
saying it was a great photo.
I actually knew him when I lived in Boca.
Oh, no way.
I swear he actually taught me loss prevention at TJ Maxx when we worked there back in the day, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And we've always been friends. So it's just funny. He's on there and he's saying stuff so I just thought I'd recognize him and post it because last week Scott was on. So I think that's awesome. So hi, Jim. And plus, since he's down in Florida,
yes, yeah.
In the Boca area and Boynton Beach area where Rachel is.
Is that photo just for fun? Like he caught that fish? Or
yeah, he just caught.
Okay, I didn't know if he had a fishing company.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And stuff like that. But
what kind of fish is that? Does anybody know? Jim, let us know.
I think it's
cool.
It's not a barracuda. I don't think it's a barracuda. No. I can't speak because of the F over his.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know anything about fish.
But
I love Ira. It's one of my passions.
Really?
Yes.
Rachel is from where we probably ran into each other back in 1998.
Yeah, we figured out we were both in Boca at the same time. We were the other day, trying to figure out if we ran the same show. Which one?
She's younger than me, so
we're not. It's not as big. I think
it wasn't, but she was working.
Not that much younger.
Yeah, she was working at some of the
I'm
same.
younger than Joe too. Not a lot.
Yeah.
I'm younger. Yeah.
You're younger. You're the youngest.
Joe is what are you, Joe? 6?
I'm 50.
No, yeah, you're 6.
Yeah, you're so 7 years. 6.
I'm 44. Yeah.
Okay.
That's 6 years. But either way, it's just funny that like how people would know each other. But Jim too. This is from Facebook, and he's seen the Facebook Live, so that's why I just thought it was funny. But I've said it's probably hilarious. You would go to the Fridays out there. And I was out there anyways. I would go. I mean, everybody went there. Everybody.
That's where everybody went. That's
yeah. If you were at the mall, that's where you went at night. So I thought it was
Fridays used to have the Jim Beam sauce. Remember that?
No, that's the worst drink that I've.
I like Sabrina's
Cream sauce on the ribs.
Yeah, they had it on a steak. They had it on the ribs. They had it on a few things. But that was the bomb back then. Friday's Jim Beam sauce.
I'm going through all these. All right, hold on.
Yeah, please. Thank you, everybody who came to watch tonight. We really, really appreciate it.
Oh,
What did he say? What did he say? Who was that? Was that Jim? I don't know if he answered the fish. Yes, I absolutely agree with Julia. Did he answer our fish question?
No, he did not.
I was curious too.
He did not. I don't know if he's
How
on.
did we get through 75 minutes already? You guys.
Oh gosh, dude! I didn't.
I knew this was going to happen.
Oh, congratulations!
Let's see what else.
I can't wait to get with Mariella and her husband Steve. I made his logo. Her husband's name's Steve Stockmole. He's a music teacher. And so I created a logo for him.
Did you know Mariella met Robin Williams?
I did not know that.
She met Robin Williams. We were talking about it last week when Jason Ricks was on with me. And let me see. I still got your picture, Mariella, and I know you gave me permission, so I still got it up on here, so I'll show it. That's her with Robin Williams and her husband.
What is? Did you watch, Joe? Did you watch the documentary, the one I texted you about?
No, not yet.
Oh, so powerful.
No, and I need to.
That his wife made in honor of him.
Yep.
It's really, really powerful.
I need to do that. I love. He's just an awesome. He's probably one of the best comedians.
I'll bet you if you interview most Americans, they would have a soft spot for that guy.
Huge.
He was
all the way from Mork and Mindy, Nanu.
All the way up, like to everything. I mean, we all have that like connection. It's just sad. It was so devastating. I actually cried that day.
Come on, Joe. I get nothing for Nanu. Nothing really.
For that you knew Mork from Mork. Yeah. Nanu. How did he sit down?
I don't remember either.
No, he sat down on his head. Yeah.
All of his movies. I mean, all of them from like Dead Poets Society, Goodwill, Goodwill Hunting, Dead Poets Society.
The Birdcage.
Yes. Miss Doubtfire is so wonderful.
And down in Florida, that's where it was. I think Miami or whenever, one of the two. I love that
one. Is pretty good too.
The
doctor one.
Patch Adams, was that it?
Patch Adams. Yeah. That one's a tearjerker too. The one where he goes back to get his wife out of hell. Oh my gosh, I can see that.
Wait a minute. Are you talking?
Oh, it's gonna drive me nuts, Ira. What's the name of that?
You're not talking about the Fisher King. No, you're
not the Fisher King. I know he has to like go back and.
Yeah, so like his wife dies and he dies too, and his daughter, one of his daughters ends up being the tour guide that he thinks is his business partner.
What's
a Robin Williams movie?
Yeah.
What is the name of that movie? Oh my gosh.
We have to go to the Google machine.
It's a powerful movie, man. That one.
It was all of them. I just like the first, and I'm
looking it up. Robin Williams.
What's amazing, as you get older, you see his movies through your eyes, right? As you get older, you have a different perspective. So
another one that just breaks my heart.
What
every
dreams
time I watch
may come?
Yes,
yeah,
that's it.
Yep, that's the one.
I've never seen that.
It's outstanding.
Yeah, watch that, Joe. That's a tearjerker.
Powerful.
The other one gets Pursuit of Happiness, which is Will Smith.
Yep, that was
that's
good one.
His son in the movie. I did not know that. That's Jaden Smith in the movie that plays the boy.
Actually, the person that William Smith was playing, he actually at the very end he walked by.
Oh, he does a Stan Lee. He does a cameo like Stan Lee.
Well, I don't think he does a Stan Lee because Stan Lee always talked, but he did a cameo just by walking by on the road.
Man. So I lived in the Bay Area for a long time. I could see the guys walking around with the quote unquote time machine. I could see that I love
City,
That movie
Ira.
tore me up. We just watched that. It was on Netflix. I think it still is. I think it's on until the end of the month. So if you guys haven't seen it, watch it. I think it's on until May 30th. Come here for all your Netflix, info. Anyways, I just watched it, man. I was getting emotional.
It is emotional, and you have to see it, Joe.
I grew up pretty poor. For those of you who have not familiar with my backstory. So, anyways, I won't go there.
All right. Well, Rachel, I know we're coming down. It's an hour and 20.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, both of you.
Rachel and I are going to go live. When I'm with Rachel, we're going to have to go live. I don't know what day of the week it'll be, but Rachel and I will.
And I'm happy to join you guys anytime. I'm more than happy to.
Well, if I ever reach out to you at the last minute and I'm going, Ira ditched me, that would be it. So hurry up.
I like to travel. I do like to travel. For those of you who don't know me, I like to get away. So I've got a bunch of trips going on this year. I've got DC. So my next trip, it's a 10-day trip. We're going to DC, Boston, New York, and Baltimore in a 10-day period. So, and then I want to come to Florida. I've already said that. I want to come to Florida. I've got another Bay Area trip this year.
Welcome, Daniela. You're welcome.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to Utah too. So I've got at least 4 trips coming this year. And then next year, I know, Rachel, you're from India, right? I'm planning on being in India for a month next year.
Let's talk before you go.
100%. So I've got people I need to go and meet with, but because the pandemic has been so crazy there, I'm thinking I might change the trip into more of like a help trip. You know what I mean? Like, let me roll up my sleeves and see what I can do to pitch in and help. So
that's my heart there.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to be down there in the south is where I'm going.
What part?
I don't know if I'll make it to the north. I might make it to the north at all, but. So with Project Help You Grow over the last 3 years, because of my connection to Silicon Valley, I'm going to be down in the Bangalore area mostly. So Pune and Bangalore primarily. That's where I'll be.
All right. Before we leave, I got to do it.
Oh,
you found it. There you go.
I'm trying to get a good shot.
Thank you, Joe. That was very, very thoughtful. And can I just say this so people understand what I'm doing? Yeah. We're talking about India. Part of the proceeds of my book are going back to orphanage in India.
Do you have a link that you can share where people can pick up the book? Because I'll promote it.
I think Joe has it.
Just get it off of Amazon and put it on?
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
Okay.
So talking about India, it's appropriate. That's what I'm trying to help. Yeah. That's where my story.
I have a heart for India. I don't know what it is. This happened. There was a missionary who came to my church when I was back in Vegas. So this was almost 10 years ago now. In fact, it may have been 10 years now. But they were sharing about India, and they have it's an orphanage for the deaf, and they have people there. It's leprosy still.
Yeah, I've gone.
Yeah, and I'm like, what do you mean leprosy? Like from the Bible time stuff that I was reading? He's like, yeah, same stuff. And I was like, wow, I had no idea. So it was like a 3-day thing, and it was just like one of those things that like ripped my heart apart. At that time, I had no idea that I would be like social media, anything, Project Help You Grow, anything. Like none of that was even a twinkle in my eye. But it just totally broke my heart. So anyways, in 2018, when I launched Project Help You Grow, a lot of the job seekers that I help are from India. It just is what it is. So I met recruiters in India too. Like I probably know 1,000 recruiters that are in India. So I thought when I go there to India, I want to just like, it's a Project Help You Grow trip, not a Bowman Digital Media trip. So it's a philanthropy trip. So the whole time I'm there, I'm going to be just helping. Like I want to help teach them about how to write. Well, they use CVs, not resumes, but anyways, how to write a CV, how to prepare for an interview, all those things so that to help them find a job. And then even how to understand like, okay, if you want to work remotely for the United States, for a company in the United States, what do you need to do to like get through the ATS system and stuff like that? So that's the goal, or at least that was the original concept. But like I said, now with the COVID pandemic, just, I mean, it's obliterating India. It's heart-wrenching.
I up and my friends will say, so and so died.
I have friends.
Tragic.
I have recruiter friends. I have web developer friends that are working with me in the Bowman digital media side that have gotten COVID-19 just in the last month or two, and now they're on lockdown now. So I thought, okay, so I either have to cancel the trip, but I already pushed it out. Originally, I was supposed to be there last year, 2020, and then I pushed it out to this year, and then now it's to 2022. It's like I'm afraid if I keep pushing, it's never going to happen. You never get that like anxiety. So I'm like, okay, so I'm just gonna I definitely want it to happen.
Oh, thank you. That's so sweet.
Yeah, and I'm gonna.
I hope I did it right. I just copy pasted the.
Yeah, no, that's how you do it.
No,
so we'll get that. I'm gonna get that link on some of my websites. I'm just gonna. Do you have a logo?
I knew I was doing that with you, and I forgot to get. You and I were gonna do that together. I'm like, I'm just supposed to follow up with Ira.
Well, let's get that logo done. So anyway, I'm gonna get that on my website. But so the India trip, now I'm thinking, well, maybe the job seeker stuff, I'll still do it, but maybe what I'll do more of is like the humanitarian. And then
there's do like yes.
Because you have to be alive for a job to matter.
Right.
That's the way I'm thinking about this. I mean, I know that
social culture, there's a big thing is about the culture.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm fascinated to learn, and
But if you ever want to do a show on India and you want to talk about it, and you guys want to learn more about it, please let me know. And I'll be
anytime. I love India.
Yeah, I'll be happy to share with you and tell you stories.
I used to feel bad about using the hashtag India because it is the largest hashtag on LinkedIn. But then I figured, the people who don't know my heart about India, they'll learn. Like, I don't necessarily need to tell you every time that, oh, I'm pro India. I'm just going to show you I'm pro India by my actions. Let my actions speak. So Project Help You Grow, about a third of the traffic on Project Help You Grow is from India. My number one source is still the United States, but my second source for traffic is India.
You'll appreciate this, Ira, if you love India so much. And you're talking about, I went to go to a leper colony when I was in India on my last trip. I was there for a reason. And I went and I was going around taking photos. I was going to give them, to help them. Because yes, the leprosy definitely still exists.
Yeah.
I met the happiest woman in my life there. She was, I was taking a photo. I was like on the ground and I took a photo. She was blind, deaf, and had leprosy. And the director was, and I'm crying behind the lens because this woman touched my heart so deeply. And I said to her, how is this woman happy? She's blind, deaf, and has leprosy. And the director said, Rachel, she was homeless and we took her in. And she's just grateful for her home.
Yeah. Sometimes,
Think about that. Blind, deaf, and leprosy. And she found gratitude. She found gratitude.
Yeah, the only thing about that, Julia, sometimes people actually have to pay attention. A lot of times, unfortunately, the ones who judge you, and this is where I learned not to give a crap about what people think about me. I mean, honestly, it's just the most healthiest mindset I've ever adopted. Like, I just don't care anymore, because the people who judge me mostly are the ones who are trying to stereotype me and go, oh, that guy. You know what I mean? Like, you look at me, you go, oh, he's a white guy. He's got a bachelor's degree. You have no idea. It took me 19 years to get my bachelor's degree. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. I was homeless as a child. I was sexually abused as a child. You don't know my story. But when you just look at any one point and go, oh, well, he comes from a middle class family upbringing. No. But I'm not going to just go around and tell you all that stuff all the time. Look at me, woe is me. You know what I mean? So for the people who say, walk the talk, 100%, I'm saying you should do that, but I'm just saying not everybody.
Not everybody advertises what they do either.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Like a lot of stuff I do, the philanthropy stuff I do, the donations that my family makes. I mean, I don't talk about that ever because it's nobody's business, but we still do it. So some
things we just do, right? Some
yeah.
things we just do, and
yeah.
And Ira, that was a very powerful share, and I want to acknowledge that.
I've shared it. I've made pretty much all that stuff public. Yeah.
But it's still very, I talked about it today, it takes a tremendous amount of courage and strength to share stuff like that in social media. So I just want to acknowledge the courage and strength.
You know why I do it? I share the things that I share not for people to feel sympathetic or even empathetic towards me. I do it because I want people to know that the things that sometimes people use them as crutches and they won't allow themselves to like take that leap forward. And it's like, no, you can be more than your circumstances. Like I didn't deserve the things that happened to me, but they did happen. So I learned lessons from them. I can come along somebody who's going through a hard situation sometimes and be a shoulder because I do have some similar experiences. Like, okay. But at the end of the day, the only one who decides my trajectory is me. And if I work my tail off, no matter what has happened to me in the past, I can still achieve great things.
Absolutely agree with you.
That's the example that I want to set. And that's why I share, like, no, my life has not been a fairy tale by any stretch of imagination. Even my marriage with my wife, we've been married 20 years, going on 21 years. And some people go, oh, wow, that's great. You have this great marriage. Like, no, we work hard on our marriage and we're married now because we both are too proud to quit. Like, you know what I mean? I got a lot invested in this thing. So we're going to keep it going. And that's the real marriage of the Bowman. Our marriage anyways. It's not, like this movie. If it was a movie, it'd be a thriller. And you got to be, holy crap, there's this roller coaster. Like, yeah, because
no, mine would be a Marvel.
You're Marvel?
Yeah, mine would be a Marvel DC, and I'd be putting on a costume of some sort. So
my wife said every good story has challenges. Every love story.
And actually, that is very true. And I know we talked about it before. There's so many stories that I have, and there are some that I don't even talk about. But man, the love story I went with my wife because we got together and then we broke up and then we got back together again. And it was funny. We were both trying to get together with each other, but we both gave each other advice. And, like I said, well, follow your heart, I know it might seem corny. I don't know the exact verbiage, but let's just go with it. Follow your heart and be with the one you want to be with. And she basically said the same thing to me. And then we both didn't tell each other how we felt about each other.
So you wanted to get with Batman?
Yeah. That's the takeaway I wanted you to get from that part was I wanted.
Welcome to the show, Rachel. This is what we do all the time.
No, you bring up something important. This is the number one of the top things I get in direct message that people just need to stop doing. They'll write me, Rachel, your life is wonderful and perfect. And it is such a pet peeve of mine. And I'll write back to them, do you know my story? And they'll say no. But I know, they made the assumption that because it's the three of us every single day, that our lives are perfect, that everything's wonderful, that we haven't gone through hard times, that we haven't gone through hardships. You wouldn't even begin to understand what I've been through this year on a personal level. You would not even begin to understand what I've gone through this last year.
Right.
So when people write that message, they need to stop writing it. It's an assumption. Your life is perfect. I'm like, you have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. And there's so many people out there and they don't. But when you get to know the person.
I will say this. Let me say it this way for all of you who don't understand this. Diamonds are made with pressure. No pressure, no diamond. Right? So when you see somebody and they look like they got it all together and everything's going their way, I guarantee you they have overcome a lot of pressure to get there. Because you don't do great things without overcoming the challenges. And my wife is 100% right in that. There's challenges, sometimes you get a reprieve and things are easy for a while. It's great. But I heard this sermon one time that life is faith to faith. And I didn't get it quite at the time. But basically what it was is like you're either in a challenge right now where it takes faith to overcome it. And that faith could be in yourself. It could be in God. It could be in anything, but faith in something. So you have this faith, and then there's like a reprieve, a calm. There's a calm between the storm. And then guess what's happening? You're moving closer as you move further away from that last victory. You're moving closer to your next challenge. You don't know the size of the challenge or any of that stuff, but you're getting closer to another one. And sometimes we have to overcome 2 or 3 at the same time.
Right.
Like when I got furloughed, supposedly I was going to have my job back in the 30 days. And this is actually something my wife and I had some anxiety about, some disagreement about. She's like, hey, you just hang on because that job's coming back in 30 days and there's benefits and there's a salary and all that stuff. And that's what, Joe, that's what I was told. 30 days later, that job it's mine again. Well, it didn't work out that way because 30 days later, I got a call saying goodbye.
Yep.
That's what I got. So I'm glad I didn't wait. But at that moment, what I was thinking was, well, I still got to pay the bills. And I'm thinking now worst case scenario because it was like a veneer. So, but the other pressure that was coming is like I've got a daughter who's about to start college and there's more money that I'm going to have to put out. You know what I mean? And so I'm thinking, I got to pay the bills now. Plus, there's this other challenge, and where I was going with this was, stacking these challenges up. Sometimes you have multiples that are coming. And for me, the biggest thing, we had moved to LA, basically January of 2020, and my wife has, oh my gosh, talk about putting up with a lot. We've moved from California to Ohio, and then Ohio to California, then California to Nevada, then Nevada to Texas, then Texas to California, the Bay Area, and now the Bay Area down to LA, all in like an 10-year period, something like that. So my wife is like, I am tired of moving. And I'm like, well, I just lost my job. I don't know how I'm going to pay the bills. So one of the pressures that I felt, the challenges that I felt was like, how can I do this thing and not move? And coming up with my own company, Bowman Digital Media, that was one of the thoughts. So it's like, if I can make this thing go, then we don't have to move anymore for jobs. Because, I can do this from anywhere. But I think for anybody out there who would look at my life or Rachel's life or Joe's life or anyone's life, frankly, and just assume that everything's because they're putting on a brave face and a happy face and they're not trying to weigh you down with all that.
We're trying to motivate and inspire people. We're trying to get people through this pandemic.
Right.
That's what the three of us are doing every day.
Yeah, but it's not that just because somebody's telling you only, like my wife used to say it like this, don't judge your everyday life by the highlights that you see on somebody else's social media posts because there's no depth there. Like I'm never going to share all my trials and tribulations on social media. A, I don't think it's appropriate. And B, I don't want to like bring people down and I'm not looking for sympathy. You know what I mean? Like life is real. I'm a real person. Trust me. I have a family of 10 people that I support. I have a lot of pressure. I mean, that's okay. I don't expect other people to carry that burden. But don't, like, Rachel, if someone sends me a post that says, hey, your life is perfect, get out of here. Get out of here.
Common thing. I get it all the time. I'm like, Nick. And this is exactly why we ask people not to assume. We ask people to protect people's mental health because they have to be advocates for mental health because they have no idea what people are going through.
Well, this is why you should never kick anybody. You say don't kick them. Don't kick them at all because I lost a friend that I was actually pretty close to, and I think Joe, this is who you thought I was talking about earlier. But I lost a friend that I was pretty close to, and he helped me grow my social media network because he's the one who gave me the idea in the first place that I needed to. But what was going on was I treated that guy pretty much the same way I treat Joe because I treat my friends like I tease the ones I love. Well, he was being offended by the jokes and I didn't know it. And so that made me think about how I treat people. And I've actually changed the approach to how I treat people a little bit, even though I still like to tease, but I don't take it nearly as far. And I try to check in and make sure they know, like, hey, I love you, right? You know what I mean? Like, that's the part that I was missing. And so there was some personal growth opportunity for me. And I think I've grown a little bit. I'd like to think I've grown other than just my
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm doing a hard stop.
Sorry.
So that no. So that we could get final thoughts in because for everybody, just because.
Thank you to everybody who came. Seriously.
It is. I've been watching it fluctuate on LinkedIn. I've been on my profile. I think that is so cool. That's on your profile showing. So I'm not actually in the show. I'm just on my profile. So, I am in the show, but
I think we've covered a lot of important.
And anytime, like I said, guys, anytime, there's a lot we can do. We could talk about anything and everything. So.
And please, everybody out there, please connect with Rachel. Please follow her. Connect with with her. Amazing. Every single day during the week, Monday through Friday, it's, Monday and not, I know sometimes you go out of turn on this, but usually Monday and Friday are her videos where she's giving you advice on what we should be doing on LinkedIn. And Tuesday through Thursday, it's usually a 3-parter from an episode that she gets to find out somebody else's story. And they're amazing.
On the show on Monday.
Watch the show.
We won't announce what it is yet, but
watch the show.
Someone who's gonna be on the show.
I know somebody will be on there. He'll probably be dressed a little bit better, but whatever.
Someone's gonna be on the show.
He won't have a hat. He won't have a hat on.
I think I put it on when I was leaving. But we were talking and I was leaving, and that's when I put it.
Yeah, we'll text you it when it's up. Yeah.
Any parting words?
So my parting words is this: we covered some really important things, right? So I don't want to make light of this part. Go back and watch the video if you're new to social media, or if you're not making friends with people on social media well, because the secrets have been revealed.
Thank you.
Dig a little deeper into people. Take that online conversation offline, even if you take it to Zoom, right? But actually understand that the person that you're engaging with, you might see them as a number or as a stepping stone, but really they're a person. And if you understand that every person is deeper than just whatever that profile says, that'll help you. But treat people like people. It goes a long ways. Rachel, I want to tell you thank you so much. I've been looking forward to it.
Hey, Jordan, liking the photo. I like your by the beach photo.
Yeah, Jordan's another really good guy.
Jordan's awesome. Yeah. Jordan's absolutely awesome.
Yep. Yeah, he'll tell you too. I've been rooting for Jordan. It's like one of those.
I'm rooting for Jordan too.
It's one of those things. Jordan and I have been connected for years, and I remember I made a spot for him specifically. Here, let me make a spot for you. But sometimes people look at us like we could be rivals. We have we're not rivals at all. We're friends.
Right.
Yeah, Jordan's great. I had him on the show this year to talk about the work that he's doing, and Jordan's a great guy.
Amazing. He was able to launch out onto his own, full time this year. So again, another success story, but also a man who's had to deal with a lot of stuff that probably a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
I just texted him this week for help with something, actually. I was just like, Jordan, how do you do this? You know how we can add the video now to our profile? I haven't done it yet. We can do that. I was like,
the creator video?
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, but I was like, Jordan.
I just got creator. I just got it. I woke up this morning and I saw it. I was like, yay.
You're so excited.
You want to know what's funny? I got creator before I got stories. So when I got it, I thought it was stories.
Yeah.
Well, I still don't even know how to use it. I just read it a little bit and went through, and I was like,
you got to just turn it on, and then supposedly there's a few advantages.
What it's saying, because I just did it yesterday. It just came up in the last 2 days. So I just turned it on yesterday, 2 days ago.
You make an introduction video, 20-second introduction.
Okay, then I'll try it. Well, listen,
thank you.
You are awesome. You are a great friend. And I appreciate you probably more than you could ever know. Ira.
I appreciate both of you a lot.
I'm glad you're on. I'm glad that you're on. You're a must follow. Everyone must follow you.
I will say that about both of you.
Oh.
I
say it all the time about you, though.
And I'm serious, man. I keep telling men
Joe is my referral champion.
I know.
I get a call from somebody once a week. Yeah, I was talking to Joe. He said I should call you. I'm like, thank you, Joe. Love that guy.
Yeah.
I can't help it because when I'm talking to retailers, they'll be going, I'm having an issue with this. I'm having an issue with that. And that's how come I came up, we did the partners tab. But it's funny. I'll go like this. Listen, I know a guy. And it's just, why don't you just call him, tell him that Joe, the finance guy, referred you, and that's all right. So it's good. But I appreciate you. So Ira, just want to make sure that I'm doing this right. Our outro videos.
And that.
All right. Awesome. Well, Everybody, until next week.
Thank you.
Hey, who do we have? Who do we have on next week? We have
Next week will be Nancy Barrows with from Shout Out Saturday. You know, Brian Schulman's and Nancy and Tim.
But Brian's not coming on, just Nancy.
Wait,
let me not say it that way. I don't mean to minimize Nancy. I'm just saying it's not a tag team.
Right. No. It was only Nancy, but I'm sure Brian. I'll put it up in StreamYard if Brian wanted to come on. We'd do it too. But yeah, it was all Nancy.
Either way.
All right.
I've known him for a long time. So I was one of the first people to get the LinkedIn Live, but he had it like 3 weeks before me. I actually got
wonderful people. Wonderful.
Yeah, no, they're great, and he was part of that Jarek Milliard's LinkedIn influencer stuff too. And I learned some stuff even after all this time I've known him. I learned some stuff in his interview, so it was cool.
See, I love that we have Cup of Joe on Friday nights now, so I could go on to his thing at noon.
Yeah,
so that's why I like doing it. So
we seem to be carrying a pretty good audience too. So
yeah, that's what I've been noticing. So yep, good. All right. I will see you guys later. Rachel, thank you very much. And here we go.
Bye.
BowmanDigitalMedia.com.
JoeTheFinanceGuy.com.
Right.